Over 50 members of parliament, including ministers, are allegedly to have been named as beneficiaries of the Iron Sheets bonanza, with some pleading innocence. Among the ministers who have so far faced the law include the Minister for Karamoja Affairs, Mary Chitutu, though she was recently granted bail of 10 million cash.
The application for bail is a constitutional right. Whether you get it or not is discretionary and depending on a number of factors. And it's my opinion that if you are not able to provide an expeditious trial, you should be able to provide parameters where a person enjoys their liberty while they await trial.
So I think I want to applaud the system. They're doing their work. And right now, for now, we are seeing that no one seems to be above the law. I think that this thing is going to implicate a lot of people. It's very unfortunate. But how we deal with it will either show that we respect the rule of law or we do not.
Minister Chitutu is facing charges of corruption, loss of public property, conspiracy to defraud government, which cases she pleaded not guilty to. For the relevant authorities to put to book those suspected to have a hand in the Karamoja Iron Sheets saga, this saw State Minister for Finance Lugolobi being arrested and is now pending prosecution.
First and foremost, I've seen police officers denying accused people access to their lawyers. By law, you're entitled to representation, regardless of gravity of offense, regardless of who you are, regardless of where you are entitled to legal representation at all times. So our investigating officers need to know that when you record a statement at a point where a person has requested their lawyer and you record it in the absence of their lawyer, that statement can be successfully challenged in a court of law because it's assumed to be coercive, it's assumed to be misguided, it's assumed to be done illegally.
Because of their position, because of who they are, they might tamper with any continuing investigations. And it is very important to understand that in many jurisdictions, pretrial detention is not something that they want to encourage. Why? Because it puts a burden on the society. The issue of that's why bail should be given under normal circumstances, unless the exceptional circumstances are sure.
Minister Lugolobi is alleged among the few beneficiaries who returned the iron sheets after a twist of inquiries over this issue.
Initially, we agreed to that arrangement, where I would make good the iron sheets on top of that roof. And unfortunately, the following day before we could execute this, a big story came out in the New Vision. Now, the team changed their position and said, we don't want you to buy the iron sheets, we want to recover those ones.
Return of property wrongly appropriated or stolen or wrongly used does not take away the criminal offense of either abuse of office, theft, among others.
But you've still committed a crime. If I kidnap your child and then when the police is hot on my tail, I bring the child back, I have still committed a crime. We have to answer for our crimes. We have to be accountable, especially leaders. We have to have leaders who are accountable for their crimes. When you commit a traffic offense, however good your explanation is, you still have to pay the ticket. This is what we're seeing right now.
Legal minds highlight on the rights of any accused person in police detention to get bail and a fair trial.
The Constitution of the Republic of Uganda is very clear. One, you're supposed to be detained in a gazetted place. Some of the gazetted places include police, if you have not yet been committed, and prison, after you have been committed.
He's given a right to be presumed innocent unless proven guilty. He has a right to medical treatment. He has a right to access his family, to access a lawyer.
You are required constitutionally and by law to be produced in a court of law within 48 hours. It doesn't matter whether you are still investigating, whether you feel this person is a hardcore criminal, whether you feel he's a murderer, whether you don't like him, you like him, whether he's a good person or but it does not matter.
On several occasions, arrests have been conducted, however, due to delays in investigations. This at times fails the work of the DPP's office.
The law does not deal with investigations. The law deals with what happens after investigations. And so if you are investigating and you feel you are not ready to charge, there are two things. One, do not arrest. But if you arrest, there is police bond.
An accused person has rights. An accused person is supposed to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. So in order to incarcerate someone endlessly because you have failed to do your work or you failed to get the evidence that is required is unfair.
There is no justification. I'm still investigating, I'm waiting for a witness, I'm waiting for a forensic report. 48 hours you have before you produce a person before a court of law.
Under circumstances that investigations are still pending, some courts are compelled to remand the suspect if he or she is not granted bail. However, legal minds say this at times infringes on the rights of the accused.
There is what we call the mandatory remand period. If that remand period has been exceeded, the prosecution now is put at pains to prove why this person should stay on remand. And if they have legal representation, usually they will apply for dismissal. But we need to realize that our police and our DPP are understaffed heavily. They are under facilitated.
This is what I said to the DPP's office. Not every charge should be sanctioned. Number two, the police knows that the DPP has initiated a prosecution-led investigation, evidence-led investigation in other jurisdictions. Follow the advice and guidance of the DPP in order to be able to get a comprehensive investigation. But also moving forward, I think increasingly, and I think government has done this because you see there is an increment of number of judges, and we need many more judges if we're going to see expeditious justice done. Yeah.
Among those allegedly implicated in the Karamoja Iron Sheets saga include the Vice President Major Jessica Alupo, Prime Minister Robina Nabanja, Finance Minister Matia Kasaija, Speaker of Parliament Anita Among, State Minister for Karamoja Affairs Agnes Nandutu, among others.
While the people of Karamoja deserve justice, even those accused equally deserve justice. So what do we say in all this? In all this we say due process should be followed.
We don't want suspected criminals walking all over the place, showing people that there is no justice, there's no one doing something. So I think that's why these arrests have been made. At the same time, I'm wondering, the people at the center of this, the Karamoja people, what are we doing for them? These iron sheets that have been returned, they've been taken to Karamoja, or are they lying somewhere rusting as evidence? We also need to understand that as we deal with these things, there are real victims in this issue. It's not a joke, it's not something to play around. There was theft, there was misappropriation of, things. Who did it, that the courts will determine, but at the same time we need to see that the people that these things were meant for also get their justice.
Okay. We are seeing some...
Please don't block way. Don't block way. Don't block.
Give way.